Welcome to the show, everybody. Happy Thursday. Good morning to you. My name is Paul Harrell. Thank you so much for being with us. We got a great show for you. Secret Service traitors? Are there a bunch of traitors that are charged with protecting President Trump? Well, we're going to talk about it. There were 3 Secret Service agents that were stripped of their security clearances and escorted out of the building yesterday. Some sources say this is because of what happened in Turkey a while ago, where President Trump abruptly switched planes back to the old Air Force One. We're going to talk about that. We also have a plethora of what are now becoming pretty popular segments. We've got our borderline insanity coming up. We got a healthy skepticism. We're going to introduce a new segment today called Grovel Games. I wonder if you can figure out what that one is related to, Rob. We've got a ballot segment. We've got a gun segment for my cold dead hands, Fourth Amendment funeral, degree in dumb if we have time, and a partridge in a pear tree. The Paul Harrell program starts right now. The partridge in a pear tree was a joke, by the way.
The Paul Harrell program.
All right, welcome to the show. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for being with us. As always, we're broadcasting live from the great state of Arkansas in the co-host chair. My co-host, Rob Spencer, is with me. Rob.
Paul, it's a pleasure to be in studio, as always, when I get the chance. And it's an honor to be presenting our favorite show for the boss. The boss told us, he said, you're my favorite show on LFA. I guess he's saying he likes it better than his. I don't know. Anyway, we
that was quite the compliment.
It was quite the compliment.
There's no doubt about that.
We loved,
very humbling.
Right. We loved having him on the show yesterday, and so we were kind of talking about hopefully we could just let's just do 5 hours. 2 hours with us and then 3 hours with him, and let's just literally talk about everything, for 5 hours. That would be fun, joint shows. But and I do have a new grunt style shirt on. I'll tell.
All right, okay, let's go ahead and just get.
You want to just get this story out of the way?
I'll give it a little head. For those of you who didn't see the show, what was that? A couple days ago.
Yeah,
I guess we would call that grunt style confessions.
Grunt style confessions.
Yeah,
yes.
Not quite like the old HBO show, Taxi Cab Confessions, but not totally, dissimilar.
Uh-huh.
Rob has a problem where he keeps buying too many grunt style T-shirts because he really likes them, but his wife is like, "You got to stop." And he said he had stopped. He told all of us on this show a couple of days ago, and he even asked us off the air. He said, "Hey, I'm going to need you guys to help hold me accountable." No, he didn't really say that. But anyway, he has a confession.
Well, it all started when my phone went off yesterday and it said, "Your grunt style delivery is out for delivery." And I had a panic mode. I was like, surely this is some kind of error. Okay. So I pull up my app and it showed me I had these 2 shirts. I ordered these a long time ago. This is legit. I ordered these a long time ago. Now this was
I ordered those drugs. I ordered those drugs months ago, honey. They just got here. I didn't know. I forgot.
And so I ordered these shirts, and anyway, they were like getting back in stock and all of that stuff. And but I didn't even remember ordering them. I just look at the date. Now I see why I ordered the 2. They're great, and this one's no first without the second.
We like that.
Yeah, we love this. If you're unfamiliar with grunt style, it is a conservative clothing. They've got retail outlets, Branson, a lot in Tennessee, Nashville, Gatlinburg, all of that. They've got these retail outlets, but then they sell all of this stuff online. A portion of every one of their sales goes to military veteran causes, Tunnels to Towers, or not Tunnels to Towers, I'm sorry. The one that helps them with PTSD. I'm so sorry. There's an organization that helps them with PTSD when you come back from a combat zone and all that stuff. So I love grunt style. And very patriotic. You walk in it, and you walk in that store, and it's a conservative's just dreamland, because it's all, and it's funny Trump shirts and all that stuff. So you get the point. Anyway, I've been ordering these shirts, and we did a count, and my wife started. This is after another shipment came in.
No, hang on now. So what did she say when you did she find the
This
loot
story,
before.
this story is the best story. Okay.
Okay, let's
And
go.
here's why. I saw this shipment and it said out for delivery. Okay. I was in a different town, about to go to another different town. Okay. And then it said, your mission is complete. And then that's the notification that sends you when the order has been sent, delivered. It's in the mailbox. I looked on the cameras and my wife was home. And I was like, oh my gosh, there's no chance. I totally rearranged my day so that I could drive 30 minutes
didn't.
home
No, you didn't.
and do a drive-by of the mailbox. And I was like saying a little prayer that the garage door wouldn't be open, because if the garage door was open, she might be like about to pull out or something like that and go pick up the kids from school.
We've got to make her watch this.
Dude,
This
no.
episode. She has got to watch this.
Oh,
episode.
I jokingly told her about this story that I told a couple of days ago. Okay. Jokingly told her, but I was like, hey, because we were still talking about grunt style, and I said, well, yeah, we talked about it on the show, and she's like, what'd you say? And I said, well, just telling them I got a problem and all of that stuff. And then she said, oh, I need to go back and watch that. And I said, no, you good. I mean, you got you got the highlights of it. And the reason I didn't want her to go watch it is because I told her that I had 26 of these shirts. That's not counting the hoodies. I've got shorts, grunt style shorts. I've got some jogging pants that are grunt style. I've got a grunt style coat, all of this stuff. So none of that. This is just t-shirts. I told her I had 26. I actually have 34. And if she went back and watched the show from a couple of days ago, the jig would be up.
This is true.
Okay. And the fact I just added 2 more, she's going to take my credit card away, I'm sure, at a certain point, like role reversal here. Anywho, so I said a little prayer as I pulled up to our mailbox yesterday that, number one, she had not checked the mail already, which I kind of figured she hadn't, because she would have said something. Rob, we just talked about this.
Yeah, that would have been great.
I'm like a guy that gets out of
Well, you
rehab
gotta
2
use
days
your
ago.
defense, like, honey, I didn't know. Why would I tell you about the conversation, the segment we had on the show, if I was then going to turn around and buy more?
So anyway, I said the prayer. Lord, listen to my prayer. She didn't know. I made off like a bandit. I grabbed something out of our mailbox. Tried not to squeal out of there, but let's just say I drive a very distinct. I drive an F-150 Raptor truck. It's a very distinct looking.
Conspicuous.
No, yeah, it's going to be noticed. You're
Yes.
right, not inconspicuous whatsoever. And so I made out like a bandit, and then found an opportunity last night to go get it out of my truck, throw it in the washing machine really quickly, so that it doesn't look or have that new
It's just
shirt
part
smell.
Of the normal rotation.
Oh
now.
my God.
You've done it, man. Like
Yeah.
that's an Ocean's
Well,
11. Congratulations. You're
here's-
like Brad Pitt. You're like George Clooney. You
One
did it.
last update. I go to say goodbye to her this morning before I go to the gym, and she makes direct eye contact with my shirt. She's the smartest person I know. She's like, mentally, she said, I've never seen that shirt before. She didn't say it out loud because I was running out the door.
She knows. She knows. After
I'm
all
going to get
that-
home, and my whole family's going to be sitting on the couch and be like, Rob, please sit down.
We have to talk.
We're going to have a talk. Yeah. So, listen, if you know anybody at Grunt Style, would you please put in a word for the Paul Harrell program and just say, there's this guy that's so dedicated to your brand that he's going to get a divorce over it.
He's addicted. That should be, grunt style T-shirts.
Oh my gosh.
Addictive. By the way, the Paul Harrell program is powered by the Healing Veterans Project. We want to remind you of that. And actually, that would also be a great connection, because if a portion of the proceeds of a grunt style sale goes to veterans organizations,
Right.
Healing Veterans would love to be a part of that, because we're just trying to do one simple thing: get red light panels, medical grade red light panels inside the homes of veterans that have had this prescribed to them by a doctor, by a physician, but the VA won't cover it. And so that's all that we're trying to do. So if you want to help us do that, you can scan the QR code on the screen and help get veterans this life-enhancing pain relief via red light therapy. Photobiomodulation is actually the scientific term. It's a real thing. As a matter of fact, red light therapy, it's so amazing. my mom, Rob, has been scheduled for a surgery, and there's been a long waiting period. She's been in excruciating pain. So I gave her my red light. She actually just bought one, so I get my red light back on Friday. But I loaned her my red light and from Red Vive, and so she sat under it, 30 minutes a day, 2 times a week. 30 minutes a day, 30 minutes twice a day. And her pain has been diminished. And she's actually in better shape than she was before, she had the big blowout. And now she's thinking about not even having the surgery anymore, which is what a lot of people say red light can do. If you're thinking about it, thinking about going under the knife, this sometimes make you rethink that. Like, why have a potentially life-altering surgery if you're now no longer in pain and your quality of life is back to the way it was? So think about that. Anyway, healingveteransproject.us. You can email me, Paul, at healingveteransproject.us if you have a business that you want me to connect to so that we can get your patrons to donate as well. So we'll tell you more about that in a minute. All right, let's get to it. What do we got? The comments? What are the comments?
My gosh,
They're
our
blowing
comments
up.
are...
What are they blowing up? What are they doing?
The real villain in his story, ex-wife defined, battle-tested, wiser, officially someone else's problem, lessons learned, standards raised, and zero interest in going back to the chaos. Let me order my shirts. Yeah, so anyway, I hope I can get away with these last 2, and then I truly hope that there's
done.
no more that I have forgotten about.
Yeah,
so
you're done
anyway.
after this. All right. I'm going to send her this segment. Can I please?
You better not,
can I
Paul.
Please? What if I do, guys? Should I send this segment
Stop
to
it.
Rob's
Put a
wife?
poll question of the day. All right, let's move on.
Headline, Gateway Pundit yesterday. 3 Secret Service officials, including communications chief, escorted out and stripped of security clearances amid reported criminal leak probe. The FBI and CIA reportedly are involved in this, which would the fact that the CIA is involved kind of lends itself to the reporting that's saying, hey, maybe this has something to do with the leaks that took place where Donald Trump secretly took a different Air Force One home when he was overseas in Turkey. It centers around, let's see here, Susan Crabtree broke the news. 3 Secret Service officials were walked out of their offices on Monday and made do not admits as part of a criminal investigation into leaked classified information to the media, according to 2 sources familiar with the matter. It's unclear if the leaks to the media pertaining to the controversy over President Trump's secret evacuation from Turkey because of intelligence about a surface-to-air missile threat to Air Force One from Iran. The FBI and the CIA are involved in the investigation. Scrolling down here, the Secret Service subsequently confirmed in a statement that 3 of their employees had been placed on administrative leave, pending an investigation into, quote, potential misconduct, end quote. Now, it goes on, CBS News identified one of the employees as Secret Service Chief of Communications, Anthony Guglielmi. Guglielmi.
Weird last name.
Anthony Guglielmi. Let's just go with that. The other 2 individuals also reportedly worked in the agency's communications office. All 3 had their security clearances suspended and lost the access to their government-issued devices. So the question is, this morning, is President Trump safe? And are there more people like this embedded? I mean, assuming they're guilty.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're presumed innocent. There's an investigation being done. But you know what there was you had that other guy. There was another guy a couple of weeks ago that was actually he was stripped of his security clearance. He was put under investigation.
Right.
He may have even been charged actually. I don't know if he was charged. Let me look that up real quick. But that had to do with this whole Turkey situation where all of a sudden, you've got some guy going to the media saying, yeah, the new Air Force One doesn't really do what the old Air Force One did. It's not up to specifications yet.
Well, I mean, a couple of things come to mind. If I remember correctly, John F. Kennedy was assassinated on the 4th attempt to get him. That there were 3 foiled plots. And of course, who would know what to believe there with the CIA and all of that? Who was in cahoots? But that's what I've always been told throughout my life is that John F. Kennedy was killed on the 4th attempt, and How many have we had against Trump here, right? Before he was president, or, before he became president the second time, we saw Butler. We saw the golf course issue. We saw, it's hard to wager whether the Tesla with the bomb and the, if that was one outside the Trump hotel.
Frank Kendall was his name. By the way, sorry to interrupt you. I
No,
just want to
okay.
make sure Pentagon yanks former Air Force secretary's access to classified info.
Right. And then we had, the White House Correspondents' Dinner. We've had, anyway, so you get the point. We've had just all of these incredibly, these incredibly close attempts to end President Trump's life. And if the service that is charged with protecting him is leaking information that is harmful to his safety, then it starts to make a little bit more sense.
What are we doing here?
Yeah.
I mean, what is this, Mickey Mouse? I mean, that's the way we know the intel oligarchy can be very secretive when they have their own interests in mind. They've demonstrated that time and time again.
Yeah, and what it leads me to believe, of course, is that it all starts making sense. Well, how come you keep having all these close attempts? I mean, the dude on the golf course at Mar-a-Lago was it one hole ahead or 2 holes ahead? Mm-hmm. Okay, that's how close this was, and it took a ground agent, a Secret Services. Sounds like these people were working in the communications department, the office, probably not directly protecting the president, but you're somebody just happened to see in there, right, and see this guy hiding out in the bush, and he had a fully capable firearm. At that, you got to believe at that distance, he probably would have been successful had he stayed undetected.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's my issue with it is this just a few bad apples, a few bad liberals who just can't stand Donald Trump, and they're working this behind the scenes plot to take Trump out, or at the very least put him in danger and throw him off course? Or is there a much more extensive network back there, and these three just happen to be caught because they're in the communications and they gave the info about the plane, and so people were looking into that. People are going to track that stuff down. It is hard for me to believe, starting with Butler, it's hard for me to believe that Donald Trump is safe at all. Now, every time there's an attempt, he always comes out and he's very gracious to his Secret Service agents and all of that. But let's look at the bigger picture here. These attempts are close. They're getting potentially closer. How the heck do you get into the correspondence dinner and get just outside of that room, and you take off running? All he's got to do is get through that door and get a lucky shot, and the president, boom.
Yeah.
I mean, how is this happening? I don't understand.
My explanation is about 20 years ago. Around the time Obama was basically going to be coronated. I think that word went out. Probably before then too, but I think word went out like, hey, if you're a communist, there's a place for you inside the deep state, inside the permanent bureaucracy, and these guys are everywhere. It's not just a couple of bad apples. It's a lot of them.
The left told us back in 2008 that President Obama was in danger because of the racist on the right, and of course that stuff back in 2008 was done on blogs and all of that. You remember the prevalence of these blogs and how everybody. You subscribe to their email and their blog and all, and they were just running about that stuff in these chat rooms. And so, I mean, as far as I know, there was no reputable attempt ever on Barack Obama. Do you remember? I know you were covering politics a lot during that time.
I do not remember.
Yeah.
No.
So, the most modern and then, so the last 2 attempted assassinations that I can think of were both complete game changers when it comes to their presidency. Ronald Reagan in the 80s, right? And then we see this with Trump. And Ronald Reagan, that guy actually got him. You know.
And there's a lot of people that think that Reagan was never really the same after that.
Yeah.
He got the message.
How could you be? But look, what did that Secret Service agent do? If you remember the old video of Reagan, in that assassination attempt, I mean, that guy pushed him into the car and fell on top of him, and they took off. Okay, but the question is, of course, how did he get that close? Anyway, I'm rambling. You get the point. I don't know how they're going to snuff it all out. I don't know. They really need a series of whistleblowers to come in here and say, hey, you need to check this guy out.
Yeah, I think
you really need that.
I think you're right about that. Folks, it's time for our first official segment of the day. We got Borderline Insanity. So Zero Hedge is reporting this story. Limits on Border Patrol arrests in California have been lifted by a federal appeals court. A federal appeals court back on August 24th, earlier this week, rescinded a preliminary injunction that limited U.S. Border Patrol stops and arrests in California's Central Valley. The U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit found that a federal district court failed to properly analyze whether the plaintiffs had standing to seek forward-looking relief based on alleged harms in the past. Standing refers to the right of someone to sue in court. The parties must show, among other things, a strong enough connection to the dispute to justify their participation in the lawsuit. The Ninth Circuit sent the lawsuit challenging immigration detentions back to the district court to allow it to revisit its legal analysis after that court issued a preliminary injunction. Once again, these preliminary injunctions that have been used to essentially go against the agenda of the American people, not just Trump.
Correct.
Limiting U.S. Border Patrol's ability to stop and arrest people in California. So as much as we talk about how the border is secure in these liberal states, they're trying to make sure their border stays as least secure as possible. The new ruling, which does not dismiss the lawsuit itself, is a tactical win for the Trump administration because it eliminates for now a preliminary injunction that limited Border Patrol's ability to stop and detain people. The appeals court sent the case back to the federal district court for a limited do-over on the question of standing. So, of course, it is the ACLU, once again, that's involved here. They're the ones that sued on behalf of the plaintiffs, who were the United Farm Workers of America and several farm workers, arguing that over a 3-day period in Kern County, California, the Border Patrol unlawfully detained individuals, including day laborers, without having a reason to believe that they were likely to escape before a warrant could be issued. The enforcement project was known as Operation Return to Sender. So this is just the ACL trying to prevent our law enforcement from doing their job and, going after illegals. And now it looks like, at least for the time being, that the enforcement can continue. So this is a win.
Right. And the ACLU is garbage. They just, their name sounds so good.
Right.
Right. It sounds like they're a protector for all of us from government.
Yeah. Civil liberties.
Correct. But where is our protection from illegal immigrants flooding the border the last 4 years, or I keep saying the last 4 years, but under Biden in record numbers. Mm-hmm. And it was so intentional, and you're just like, well, where is our protection as a United States citizen? Even if the people coming across are not violent,
where's Lake and Riley's civil liberties?
Correct.
They're gone. They don't exist anymore.
All she was on it is a morning jog. Some of the saddest things is when they released entries from her diary. I don't know if you saw some of that, but she would just talk about her prayers and how she was praying. She prays every day that God will make her a stronger Christian woman, growing in her faith, so that she can be the best Christian wife to whoever her future husband will be. She was praying for the trad wife kind of stuff that the left pushes against so badly.
Yeah.
And ironically, that's who we should be protecting. That's who the ACLU should be protecting the most. And she was the one that was the least protected
our
because
future
of the policies.
wives and mothers. Yeah,
right.
That's a great point.
And you're fighting against the government, but realistically, you're fighting against Trump because I have not ever heard. I mean, I can't remember if somebody drop it in the chat. If you can think of an instance where the ACLU has helped someone on the right, can you? I really can't think of any instances, and maybe they did back in the day before things were so politicized, but that organization is a fraud. All they are obstructionists, and they are purposefully breaking federal law here by trying to enable these. They're saying, well, you should have just let these people be arrested first because that's what we want to happen here in the state of California. They're in the country illegally, folks. That's breaking federal law. Shut up about your stupid state laws because we don't care in this instance.
Yeah.
You are working against your federal government, and you can't be supported with
Illegal aliens don't have American civil liberties.
It's in the name.
I mean, and this is what's so messed up about it. The idea that you're illegal, so now you get a Second Amendment right? No, or you get a. It's just insane, and this comes to this idea that everybody in the world has a birthright as part of their birthright to come to America, and that's why this week, and I really want to hit on this because this is a big deal. That you want to talk about a white pill moment this week that I think was desperately needed. Mm-hmm. The Trump administration pausing all visa appointments worldwide. We talked about this yesterday, but this is a huge, huge deal. And the ripple effects are substantial, and they're having incredible. We're having incredible, headlines coming out of this. University of Maryland is now warning that Trump's 4-year visa cap could crush graduate enrollment by 30%. The Trump administration is overhauling rules governing the length of stay for international students and exchange visitors, replacing a decades-old system with a fixed period of up to 4 years. Beginning September 15th, most people entering on F1 or J1 visas will no longer be admitted for duration of status, which generally allows them to remain in the country as long as they maintain their academic or exchange programs. Instead, students and scholars will receive predetermined admission periods based on the length of their programs, capped at 4 years. Any extension needed to complete a degree, including many doctoral candidates, will require an application to U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. The new 4-year visa cap could be damning for some colleges and universities that rely heavily on international students. A new report from local outlet The Baltimore Banner warns that the University of Maryland could face a decline as much as 30% of its newly admitted graduate students this fall, thanks to a new visa restriction proposed by the Trump administration this summer. So again, that is also. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just saying, I've got an interesting sort of series of questions for you here.
Yeah.
To the best of your knowledge, is the University of Maryland a public university?
Yes,
it absolutely is. To the best of your knowledge, being a public university, would you imagine that it would receive public funding and such as specifically government grants, all of that stuff?
100%. Yeah.
So you're saying that the taxpayers are paying this university, and they are accepting students from 30% of their students from foreign countries to come in and reap the benefits of taxpayer-funded universities, and we don't have a say in it. We don't have the right to be upset about that happening, and also cheer the fact that maybe if you don't have 30% of these people who are coming in and not paying any taxes, right? I mean, these students are coming in on student visas, and they're probably not paying any sort of taxes. I don't know what each student's work situation is, and so they're coming in and taking. They're taking from taxpayers like you or I or our listeners. We have a say in this. And when your university is going to lose 30% of its enrollment because of this instance, then it needs to happen. And your university needs to shrink by 30%. You should be able to run much more efficiently on a tighter budget with fewer students. How about that? And even that tighter budget may not be a tighter budget for a while. You may still receive all of these grants. You may just have extra money because you cut a few positions. I'm not in favor of anybody losing their job, American citizens losing their job over this. But at the same time, how many American citizens are losing their job over illegal immigration? How many American citizens are losing? We talked about the H-1B visas yesterday. How many American citizens are already struggling from this?
Yeah, check this out. That's a great point. So the Defender of the Republic, Katie's her name. Actually, I interviewed her before. She found 30 H-1B employer names using the same Princeton, New Jersey office address. She says, I've been digging through the U.S. Department of Labor H-1B LCA disclosure data from 2020 through 2026. This deserves some attention. She says the address 5 Independence Way, Suite 300. This location is associated with Princeton City Office, which openly advertises virtual office packages that allow businesses to use a Princeton business address, receive mail and packages, and obtain receptionist phone services. Now she found that 30 employer names filed LCAs using the same Suite 300 address.
Interesting.
Over the 6-year period. And they're just not a handful of records. She found 308 individual LCA filings represented 308 worker positions tied to this employer address. So it's a scam. And she even talks about her own father, or her stepfather, who was a data scientist, can't find work because he was part of the Verizon layoff several months ago after 10 years. He's got a master's degree, and it's the exact kind of person that we're told the economy is built for: educated, experienced, proven, and yet he's being passed over. While we're told there's a shortage of qualified workers, there isn't a shortage. There's a system that would rather replace Americans than invest in them, and people like him are paying the price. Here's another one. Now, this is actually more of a white pill. International students, according to Hanny Girgis, international students are starting to question whether expensive U.S. degrees still make financial sense. A Reddit post gaining traction warns prospective students, come to America for the education if you want, but don't borrow enormous amounts of money assuming you'll be able to stay and work here afterward. The poster uses a hypothetical $320,000 tuition bill and asks a simple question: how long would you have to work in America to earn the investment back? The $320,000 figure is hypothetical, but look at what's changing. Okay, and so you look at these CPTs being restricted. New F1 rules begin September 15th. We were just talking about the administration is proposing a $103,000 fee for new H-1B applications. Maybe American universities should primarily be selling an education, not an implied pathway into the U.S. labor market.
My goodness. I mean, that's. I hope that Reddit post just takes fire. You know, I hope that it keeps getting out there, because who the hell is paying $320,000 for college? And I know that we're here in the South, and that just seems like an absurd amount. I mean, it's pretty expensive to go to a university regardless. But, you know, if it's $320,000, that debt, I mean, can you imagine these people are making minimum payments on this stuff as opposed to large chunks? They'll never get it paid off. It'll grow. They'll look up in a couple of years and, you know, several years down the line, 30 years, and they'll have paid $2 million and they still owe the same amount of money.
Yeah, matter of fact, on this, I think this is a good segue into a segment that was going to be later in the show, but I am going to connect them now. It's time for Degree in Dumb. Yeah, so for this segment, segment of Degree in Dumb, we're going to go to a couple of TikTok videos just to prove you how ridiculous our education system has become. Listen to this.
Stuff was happening at the Department of Ed. This is crazy. The Department of Education just changed the rules for every college program in the United States. Starting July 1, every undergraduate program at every school will have to prove that its graduates out-earn the average high school diploma holder. And if they cannot, they risk losing federal funding, including Pell Grants, meaning that school could not allow prospective students to take out federal loans to attend their institution, which would put a lot of schools out of business. So for students and for people who went to college, think about what that means. For the first time, a college is literally being held accountable for what someone like you makes after you graduate. Not just if you graduated, not if you paid back your student loans, but what you actually made post-graduate. This is one of the first times that the rule applies all across higher ed, whether school is nonprofit, private, public. Here's the interesting development though for beauty and wellness careers and for schools that produce graduates in those careers. Cosmetology, aesthetic, barbering, and massage programs and other select careers where a significant or certain portion of someone's income is based on tips get a delayed implementation. And that is at least a 1-year delay, allegedly, from my understanding, while the government figures out how to measure tip earnings fairly under the whole no tax on tip policy. So this is different than the previous rule under gainful employment, that this is across all of higher ed. I have a lot more thoughts about this, but this just came out today. I'll share more when I know.
So there are some even state level reforms people talking that their state universities do not need to offer degrees that cost X if the average salary of that of what you could get there is not going to be able to pay your loan back. We're not going to set these kids up to be debt slaves for the rest of their life.
I've got a couple of questions here. Why do you need a 4-year degree to be a massage therapist?
I don't know.
That's just absolutely ridiculous. Excuse me. Number two, that I can't imagine somebody's going to go and now major in philosophy. Okay, because what's your pathway to paying your tuition back? I guarantee you, unless you're going to be teach it and you're going to just turn around and teach philosophy somewhere, there's not a pathway for you to get a job direct. I mean, what job is directly in philosophy? Okay, you're going to go work at a business, but you're going to have a 4-year degree of something. Well, then wouldn't it be better to make these more trade school oriented in the first place? I mean, if that's where you're going to end up, my gosh, I run a business. I run several businesses, and I'm in real estate, and I'm sitting here with a performing arts degree. I mean, how in the world is that?
Yeah. Well, and even the trade schools, I think the trade schools are great, but you even now have people going into debt to go to trade school, which is also a big problem.
Well, because the trade schools are fine. I mean, they're finding, more people want this job.
But the degree, that website, Degree Free, and that podcast, we've had several clips of that on. And she's got a totally different take on it. Not saying that you don't need to be an electrician or plumber, but just that there are a lot of other jobs out there that you can do, especially if you go right out of high school and get those entry level jobs, get that experience. That there are businesses that want to train you, and that there really is a path to do this and have the life you want to have without having to go to college.
Well,
real quick,
sure.
This is a guy.
This is funny.
Have you seen this?
Yeah.
This is a guy who says if college were invented today and it was being presented on Shark Tank, it would go something like this.
Hey, I'm asking for $20 million, and in return, we're going to put your name on one of the buildings. All right, what's your product? We're selling 4 years of classes to unemployed teenagers. Oh, so it doesn't cost much? It's $100,000. How are they going to get that? They borrow it. So these classes, they're like better than what you could get for free? Oh, no, none of our teachers speak English, and everything is explained much more clearly on YouTube for free. But you're guaranteed a job? No. So can you return the product? No. Well, how much do the employees make? Oh, the adjunct professors make next to nothing. Oh, so operational expenses are very low. No, we need like $30 million a year for our basketball program. Wait, I thought you said you were teaching classes. Why do you have basketball? No, we have every sport. Oh, the customers play the sports, but their product is covered by the other customers. Okay, where do the customers live? Oh, we rent to them. We're the landlord. And they also have to buy their food pass from us.
Yeah.
At the very end, the investor's like, F it.
Yeah, I'm out.
I'm not investing in that.
Right. If you've never seen Shark Tank, it's people bringing their business idea and putting it in front of these multimillionaires and billionaires in certain cases and trying to say why their business model is great and why that person should invest in it. And he did a great job there because, I mean, that's everything. If you just looked at college as in a fishbowl here and you're just sitting there and just looking at it, you would have so many questions.
Yes.
And you're just and how in the world does someone go $200,000 in debt to become a public school teacher? Okay. And when at best in larger states, what would a public school teacher make? Be lucky to make six figures. I mean, you'd be lucky to make $100,000 in some states. Like we shared on the show yesterday, the state of Arkansas, the starting wage is $50,000, but that was just raised by Sarah Huckabee Sanders in the last few years. So, but you're seeing that all the time, and they're saying, well, you've got to have at least a bachelor's degree, and you got to have this teaching, whatever, praxis, all these things, and then you have to have just to get a pay bump, you got to have a master's degree. So you got to go to 6 years of college and get $200,000 in debt to hopefully make half that in a year. And oh, by the way, you've got bills. It's not like you can just pay that back. It just blows my mind. Charlie Kirk said it. He constantly said it. College is a scam. There are a few degrees that totally would make sense in terms of what is needed. Nursing comes to mind. Although I think that there's certain things you could do with nursing and not put it through this 4 year. Like why am I taking Why do I have to have this class and this if I'm trying to just be a nurse? If it was just more focused, but anyway, and then the stupid leftists, what do they want us to do? They just want us to cancel all student loan debt. You're just like, well, you spent $320,000 to get a gender studies degree.
Yeah,
I'm not paying for that. I'm not paying for it. I'm still paying some of my college loans. At this point.
I will say my take on that is probably a little bit more controversial in terms of the loan forgiveness. Well, that's kind of a different really conversation than what my feeling is. The idea that these young kids are victims, I think there is some merit to that.
I do agree.
They're taxpayer funded
money. Yeah.
Taxpayer funded public schools that pay guidance counselors to brainwash kids that they must go to college. The guidance counselor success rate is based on percentage of graduates every year that get accepted and go to college.
Yes.
They're told literally as 16, 17, and 18-year-old kids by taxpayer-funded teachers that you're going to be living in a dumpster if you don't go to college. And then they sign their name on the dotted line. And, yeah, the parents are doing it too because our whole society is like college. You got, and by the way, you're also giving your kids over to a bunch of woke professors that are ruining their lives.
Yeah.
Too, by the way, you're giving them over to the enemy in many cases, and there's a lot of parents waking up to that. Sean Duffy, the transportation secretary, said that we covered that the other day. Didn't want his daughter to go to Harvard because they've perfected how to corrupt somebody. Mm-hmm. But I do think there is a victim mentality here when we're talking about the taxpayer dollars being used to convince kids to go into debt. That to me is there's a moral question there. Yeah. Now, whether or not they need to be forgiven, that's a separate conversation. But I do think people on the right, kids on the right and the left, I think they rightfully do feel some level of victimization. I mean, they are responsible for doing it, but they're signing up for at 17, 18 years old, you have no concept of what it's like to make a living. You have no concept of what it's going to be. You can't think about you can hardly think about tomorrow in your next exam, let alone 4 or 5 years from now when you're out, on $100,000 in debt and can't find a job. Young kids don't think like that. They just don't. So I think there's a real problem there. There is some responsibility on the government for what they have done, and then the government comes along and guarantees the student loans to the universities. Mm-hmm. So your colleges have a guaranteed customer base every year. They don't have to worry about their product at all. They don't have to worry about their services at all because they have a guaranteed taxpayer-funded loan program that just they have no incentive to lower their tuition ever because the government is just going to constantly put these kids in debt. The whole thing is corrupt. It's disgusting. And then when you add on the international tuition and the the student visas and everything else, the whole thing, the international tuition, which is just gobs of money, the opportunity for corruption is insane. Back to the H-1B issue, though, this meme wins it for me. This is top brow humor, where you hear where it's not really that many Indians. Trust me. Venn diagram, tech CEO saying it's not that many Indians. Also, General Custer. It's not that many Indians.
Oh, that's a dark joke.
Oh, it's good. I love it. Here is an Indian official talking about what we talked about yesterday, which was, hey, there's a lot of people that are now stranded in India and all over the country because they were told for their last green card meeting they had to go back to their home country. So they left America, went back to their home country, and now those meetings have been canceled, and they're just stranded there. Listen to this Indian official.
Oh, hold up.
Yes.
Alex Stein, his that's a great post. Indians are now complaining about being stranded in, checks notes, India.
Appointments. While we do understand, as you also understand, that visa-related issues pertain to the sovereign domain of any country, we have flagged these issues and our concerns of our nationals to the U.S. side, both here in New Delhi and in Washington, D.C. And we hope that these delays and these disruptions will be addressed. There are several people who have been they have been stranded for an extended period of time because of scheduling or rescheduling issues of consular appointments, and these have also caused a lot of hardships to their families, to the family life that they have, as also to the education of their children. As you would understand, and I think there was a communication from the US government also, that with effect from December 15th.
Okay, so here
Are there no jobs there in India, or are they just the most populated country in the world, and they're trying to get rid of some of them?
Here are my thoughts on this. The government of India has every right to be concerned in terms of from a self-preservation standpoint about what's taking place. But I think it exposes what this really is. This was never a declaration of war from the nation of India. Hey, we're going to invade America with an armed army and take over your country. But practically speaking, the results are the same, where their citizens now get to live in relative peace and reap the benefits of a country that they never actually had to physically conquer with guns and bombs. And so the idea that these Indians are now back in their home country and they're in limbo, most of them all have family back home. There are remittances that are sent, just like we talk about the remittances that go from back to Mexico or South America or Latin or wherever they're from. And so from an economic perspective, they've got families in India that get money from their family members back home. And this is potentially a big problem for India if all of a sudden those remittances, those the family to family transactions stop. This could be a big problem for them. But I think it really highlights the fact that this has all been some weird 20th/21st century new warfare where we're basically declaring war without actually having to invade with guns and bombs.
Right, and the invasion, when you talk about it, when we're getting these invasions from predominantly Muslim countries, there's the danger aspect of it. Excuse me. But I want to. I mean, have you guys have you ever seen videos from those street markets in India? How they are absolutely disgusting. I can't believe are there Americans who vacation and go on a vacation in India? Like, I wouldn't step foot in that nasty country.
No.
That is when Trump talks about these hellhole countries, of course he used a different word. I'm like, I think of India. I think of a street market. I think of a dude mixing stuff up with his feet, and cutting stuff with his long toenail. If you want to be grossed out, just find some of them. They're all over YouTube. Anytime you just want to get yourself sick or something, like trying to get out of work, like, oh, yeah, well, just watch one of those. You'll throw up in 2 seconds. And so I just try to say, okay, I don't want the Muslims here because I don't want to get blown up. But I don't want the Indians here because I don't want their nasty-ass country to be brought over here. Don't be bringing that stuff over here. And it's like, no, they would never do this. We would never do this because we are clean. Bull. I tell you, I know firsthand. I've told my Gatlinburg story multiple times, and I had to smell Indian rear-end booty stinking up body odor, curry smelling crap. I smelled it all day. You can say I'm racist. It's a true observation, folks. Nasty folks. I'm sure there's some Indian people that take showers, but why take the chance?
I think this is this guy again, this Hani Gittergis. I think he may be Indian. What do you think? What do you think this guy?
I don't know.
Maybe co-owner and chairman of Skillstorm Ed Tech, building tech talent at home, investor father. I don't know. Who knows? He says a new report estimates that an Indian worker entering the EB-2 employment green card line today could wait 179 years under the current system. The backlog already includes an estimated 1.26 million Indians and dependents, including roughly 839,000 in EB-2 alone. Everyone can agree. A 179-year queue is absurd.
Everyone can agree?
I
don't know.
So.
I mean, sir, don't speak for me.
That's the headline from the San Francisco Chronicle. Indian workers seeking U.S. green cards could face a 179-year wait, report fines.
I was waiting for the problem here. Is that one? Is there a problem to be had here? Because I don't see it. Mm-hmm. I smell it. I smell the problem, but I don't see the problem, folks.
There it is.
Yeah,
there it is. Good stuff. Anyway, this huge white pill this week on the H-1B thing, and just immigration in
I'm going
general.
to be banned from all gas stations here pretty soon.
I mean, it probably are. Now, I mean, my position is the whole program just needs to be scrapped or whatever. I mean, just completely end the program completely. I'm pretty sure that would require an act of Congress. This is the bureaucratic. I mean, this is the executive branch.
Yeah.
Using the bureaucracy to the American people's advantage. Maybe the first time that that's ever happened, where the bureaucracy is actually being put on. Put on the Indians, put on the Chinese, put on whoever wants to come here, because the demographic demise, the people don't want the demographic changes that we've seen.
Amanda Collins in our comments, make Baz great again. Yeah, and they're talking about the toenail soup and all that stuff.
Gross.
Yeah,
Gross.
There's some great stuff in the comments today. Love you guys. This is awesome.
In other news, Josh Shapiro is claiming that Pennsylvania has now experienced the first 2 measles deaths in years, in decades. Listen to his claim, and we'll address
The
it.
Department of Health announced the first 2 measles-associated deaths in Pennsylvania in 35 years. Both of the individuals were from Lancaster County, and both were unvaccinated.
So the first deaths,
yeah.
he says, in 35 years? Is that what he
yeah.
said?
Yep,
Something like
yep.
that? That brings us to our next segment, healthy skepticism. There's just one problem with Governor Josh Shapiro's claim, and that would be Robert Kennedy Jr. Now, the media, by the way, they ran with this. Okay, this was everywhere. When I was in my drive into work yesterday, I was listening to just kind of this radio show, which is basically like mainstream news headlines, and I heard this. Governor Shapiro says touts vaccines as Pennsylvania sees first measles deaths in 35 years. They ran with this story yesterday. Politico, now reporting that RFK Jr. says Shapiro's office may have fabricated these measles deaths. After reporting 2 deaths, Pennsylvania's governor said the health secretary wasn't helping to control the disease spread. But here it is. In Lancaster County, the commissioner there, Josh Parsons, said this about, and he exposes Josh Shapiro as being a liar. Listen to this.
The governor was in Lancaster County yesterday, came to Women's and Babies Hospital, LGH Penn Medicine Hospital, along with the Pennsylvania Department of Health and others. Commissioner Yoder was there and made an announcement that there was 2 individuals who died. I think the terminology was measles associated or something like that, deaths. But the underlying assertion in that was that they died from measles. That certainly was what was communicated in the press. We had many inquiries from the press. There was
Literally,
much
we just
interest
heard that.
locally and nationally, and also from members of the public, our constituents. And I think it was reported that these were the first measles deaths in the U.S. in 35 years. Alice can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's what was reported. So it was a big deal, and I think there is transparency owed around that. There was no information released about the 2 individuals other than that they were unvaccinated. And the law does allow for information to be released. It can be released without identifying the individuals, but providing some demographic background information, age, that sort of thing. So because of obviously there's a lot of interest in that. Obviously it sound like very tragic cases. I reached out to the coroner's office. Now, under the law, anyone who dies of a communicable disease in Lancaster County, that means measles in this case, that would have to be reported to the coroner's office. And I spoke at length yesterday with a senior member of the coroner's staff and spoke at length this morning with the coroner himself, and they have 0 cases of measles death. They have 1 patient, and the coroner spoke about this in the press, but they had 1 patient who died with measles, not of measles. We don't know if the state is counting that patient as one or not, and we know nothing about the other. And so I reached out to LGH Penn Medicine yesterday and again this morning. I reached out to the governor's office. I've received no responses from any of them.
Of course not.
Brian Pasquale, our director of public safety, just talked to him. He doesn't have any information. So I think that it is totally fair when a governor comes to the county and makes an announcement such as this, and there's huge media interest, to provide some transparency around this. And I think it is also, if we were in a functioning system, you would have many journalists, rather than just sort of repeating uncritically the line that there were 2 deaths from Lancaster County, they would ask for some corroborating information. And I'm open to the, of course, I'm open to the idea that this did in fact happen, and perhaps someone, as the coroner has said, there's a possibility that someone contracted measles here and passed away outside the county, and it was reported to another county coroner. I think that's an unlikely probability. There's also some other unlikely possible scenarios. But if those are the cases, it's incumbent upon the people who had the press conference to relay that information. It is obviously a huge story. It's a big deal. You don't get to just say that this happened and then everything else around it is top secret. You need to articulate enough details for people to know, and then for us to be able to communicate with our constituents, and for people to be able to make decisions based on that information.
So Josh Shapiro goes out and just makes a statement because he heard somebody had measles, died with measles, not of measles, and he spins it. This guy just to go after RFK, just to essentially do Big Pharma's bidding and basically encourage people to keep getting your shots, folks, and also try to get the political points from it as well.
They've already got the playbook. They gave us this during COVID. And people dying with COVID versus dying of COVID.
Correct.
They call it close to 8 million deaths that were, COVID deaths. But again, I've shared on the show that my father had a massive heart attack. He was COVID positive when he died. COVID had nothing to do with it. He had severe depression his last few years, and he was just extremely unhealthy. The dude was eating vanilla ice cream, a half a gallon of vanilla ice cream for breakfast. That was his breakfast, although breakfast cereals aren't much better than that, right? But, anyway, he had a massive heart attack, and he's counted as a COVID death. And the hospital that took him, or actually, he really just went straight from, his house to the funeral home, because he was pronounced dead at his house. But anyway, that's what the Democrats did, and it was a money grab. And so what they're going to do is they're going to continue to receive these funds, the Josh Shapiros of the world, especially these people on the left. And I'm not naive. The people on the right are getting these big pharma funds as well. Okay, we've seen this. And they're getting that, and they're saying, hey, look at this. This is a much bigger problem than what it is, right? And, excuse me, I don't know. I mean, measles, it's been around, that vaccine's been around for a long time. I'm not trying to put it in the same box as the, the COVID-19 and I forget what all those, Pfizer and all of that, what their official name of the vaccine is called. But regardless, I'm not putting it in there with tested versus untested, but it is about patient rights. And it's about the ability for these parents to make their decisions there for this child. And it's not a permanent life-altering decision such as transgender stuff. So anyway, this is just a chance to try to take a shot at the administration.
Yep, and
That's
to
all
reinforce the left's narrative that RFK Jr. doesn't need to be listened to. And it's really sad because RFK represents a much more healthy understanding of the world and how to actually make America healthy again versus the status quo.
Well, and Josh
which is
Shapiro,
make people lifelong customers of Big Pharma.
Yeah,
so,
and Josh Shapiro, he's got to ramp things up because
he's going to run for president.
We've all been told, and we all believe that he will be running for president in 2028, which means that they'll start announcing next year.
Yeah.
I mean, that's about when it'll start happening.
Moving now from Pennsylvania to New York, this headline, Amish threaten mass exodus from New York over vaccines, which is heading to the Supreme Court. New York's Amish community is issuing an ultimatum to state bureaucrats. Leave us alone, or we're packing up our buggies for greener pastures. The threat has been sparked by a vaccine mandate fight that the 25,000-strong religious community is taking all the way to the Supreme Court. It takes place as state health officials continue to slap thousands in fines on tiny one-room parochial Amish schools which have refused to comply with a Cuomo-era vaccine decree. Have we gotten to a place where we weren't going to make room for the Amish anymore? Hiram Sasser, an attorney representing 6 plaintiffs in the case Miller versus McDonald. When you think of Americana, apple pie, fireworks, the Amish are on that list. They're part of the American fabric. They're a good litmus test of our religious liberty and our tolerance, Sasser claimed to the Post. In 2019, following a measles outbreak in an Orthodox Jewish community, then Governor Andrew Cuomo rescinded religious exemptions for school vaccine mandates, making it the second state to ever do so behind California. Post-COVID, 2 other states, Maine and Connecticut, removed religious exemptions, while West Virginia never had them. New York state law requires kids to receive between 24 and 27 jabs to attend K-12 schools. So now they're going after Amish school kids who, by the way, haven't been getting vaccines forever.
Yeah.
Forever.
And what did they do? They used what's it called? Group
herd mentality.
The herd
immunity.
Immunity. Thank you. Yeah, herd immunity, where you know, like if somebody was sick, let's all get sick. And I mean, as far as I know, they really weren't dying.
Yeah.
People weren't dying because obviously they're outside. They live much healthier lifestyles than we live because they're doing what God had created our body to do, and that's move and be active every day. It's impressive to watch them construct buildings and all of that stuff. I mean, they're just an incredible people, and so I can't imagine that they're going to lose at the Supreme Court. But, I mean, you just never know. Yeah. And these liberal justices that will be voting on along party lines, I would assume, just reminds me of Sotomayor when she stupidly said, when there was a vaccine in front of, a vaccine argument in front of the court during COVID, she said, well, at this time I'm told that 150,000 children are currently hospitalized in the state of New York for COVID. And, of course, everybody was like, did she just say that out loud? This is a Supreme Court justice who thought 150,000 kids had COVID and were in the hospital? Where in the hell? Like, I don't even know how she could have gotten that number. Like, where it could have possibly been skewed. And that was so I say all that to say I have no faith in anything. I do appreciate for the most part that when they go to the Supreme Court, they've got a conservative majority. But with John Roberts and Amy Coney Barrett right now, who the hell knows?
All right, we're going to reset. We're going to take a break here. We got another hour to get to. We're going to introduce our brand new segment when we come back. The grovel game, because there's a few stories in the press with cancel culture coming back and people having to grovel for the apology of the woke mob that in many cases doesn't even use your product at all to begin with. We'll talk about that when we come back. Don't go anywhere. This is the Paul Harrell Program. We can't do the show without you. Thank you so much. Back here in just a moment.
For centuries, light has been used to heal. Awaken the body with Red 5.
The other things that we're seeing, more and more use for is even vascular issues. So one of the mechanisms that red light, near-infrared light, or Red 5 works is stimulation of the mitochondria and stimulation of nitric oxide production. So when nitric oxide is released in cells, it vasodilates cells. It reduces inflammation. It moves blood. It brings blood flow to areas. So if folks that have issues with ulcers or burns or wounds, it can help stimulate increased blood supply. and you need blood to heal. So that can open up different avenues for peripheral artery disease, for neuropathic pain syndromes. And so that's one of the other areas for nerve injury or nerve pain that we can leverage this type of medicine.
My name is John, and this is my beautiful wife, Lori, and this is our Star Wars Ewok. His name is Scout, and we have Scout for about 11 years now, and we started noticing about 3 years ago he started slowing down. He was unable to jump on the bed. He was kind of a little bit grumpier, and when my daughters, Macy and Mariah, would take him on walks, he would walk for about 30 yards, and then he'd lay down, and they'd carry him the rest of the way. So I heard about Pet Club 24/7 and about the products from a gentleman that I really trust and share a friendship with. And he mentioned to me that they have products that are going to help him with his arthritis, help him build his immune system. And I said, okay, no problem. Let's try them out. And I kid you guys not, within about 2 to 3 days, we started noticing a little difference. And then we took Scout on a walk probably about a week after we started using the products, the mush puppies, and he would walk the entire way. He would walk at least a mile, and it's just been completely amazing. He's a new dog. He's 11 years old, which is around 80 years in dog years, and he's just happy. He's more energetic. He's not the grumpy old man he used to be, and we're just so thankful. And it was perfect timing because we lost our boxer Yankee about a year and a half ago, and it was really hard on us. So I'm so thankful for Pet Club 24/7 for the products that they offer. Imagine if you could have your best friend around one more day or one more week or even one more year. I'm so blessed and thankful that we were able to find this company and find these products for Scout. So thank you guys. Give it a shot. We appreciate you. God bless everyone.
MyPillow's second annual mega sale is finally here. Get our patented premium MyPillows that adjust to your exact individual needs to give you the best sleep of your life.
When I got MyPillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
Now for the lowest price ever. Kings, $19.98. Queens, only $18.98. And Giza Dream Bed Sheets, the best sheets in history, for as low as $29.98. Lux Pure 6-piece towel sets, towels that actually dry you. What a concept. Now only $39.98. And our made in the USA mattresses and mattress toppers as low as $99.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. But that's not all. Order right now and we'll ship your order absolutely free.
The Paul Harrell Program.
All right, welcome back. Thanks so much for being with us. Broadcasting live from the state of Arkansas on Live from America TV. Really do appreciate it. Can't do the show without you watching every single day, so we do appreciate that. Rob, so a lot of people, I think cancel culture is behind us. But we have a couple of stories here that actually prove that to not be the case. They're trying to revive cancel culture.
I see. Yes, I think we're going to talk about the Halloween costume. We've got a, I don't know what else you've pulled here, but this one honestly is just funny to me. I think it's because other than white liberal women, are really liberals. Like we don't really get offended by much.
I know.
Like, I mean, I don't know.
But people are acting like it's 2015 again.
Yeah, and I've never been down with the cancel culture because I'm like, I don't get offended by stuff.
Yeah.
If an Indian person is offended by my critiques of them, I'm like, well, just point out what's untrue about what I said. I don't care. I don't care what you think.
So now it's time for our newest segment we're unveiling today, right now. It's called The Grovel Games. Okay, so basically, who can out-grovel, who can virtue signal the best? I mean, that's kind of what we're going for here. And so you see it, Target has apologized for a Halloween costume a couple of days ago. They say, we pulled an offensive Halloween costume that should never have been part of our assortment. It's no longer for sale. As a company, we got this wrong, and we're deeply, deeply sorry. We know this is especially hurtful for our black guests, team members, and partners. Removing the costume is an important first step, and the company is looking closely at how this happened and what needs to change to ensure this won't happen again. So, what did they do? What's the costume?
Are you going to show it?
Yeah, it's a kid. It's a black kid in a clown costume. All right. So, how bad could the costume be? Oh. Now, I mean, look, I can promise you right now that the black kid that they got to model this was perfectly happy to get the work. Was perfectly happy to get the work.
I mean, to me, it looks like a clown costume, and
looks
it
like
just happened to be a black kid modeling.
It's a jack-o'-lantern, is what it is. It's like a jack-o'-lantern type costume, right? Is basically what it is. And if it was a white guy, if it was a white kid modeling it, nobody would think anything about it.
Well, no, they wouldn't have thought anything, honestly.
Yeah, they would have probably been like, why didn't they get a black model?
Yeah, and it's interesting.
Why is the kid got to be white? Too many white people modeling Halloween costumes. That's what their complaint would be. And Target wouldn't have said anything about that.
I know, and it's like,
or maybe they would have actually.
Are black people just sitting around, like, I'm sure some are, just waiting to be offended. But I mean, I don't know.
I see it.
I see the reference. I get it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I get it.
Well, it's not identical either. It's not like it's a direct thing. It's just happened to be a similar pose.
Yeah. The problem here is that, now the internet's done what the internet does, and the internet is...
this has an audio. We are not going to play it on the air.
We're not going to play the audio, but
it's full of, sort of racist terminology. So
right.
And one day I was curious because I was looking up. I mentioned, I'm not going to say the specific words, but I mentioned, like I was looking up the definition of a word because I was like, well, I've always heard this, and why is it a reference to black people? And you can probably think of a couple of words I'm talking about. I mean, it's not the N word. I'm talking about, these just other references. Okay. I'm not going to be specific. And so I was looking it up, and the word that it was talking about was the word that keeps getting used in this video. And it said, the rest of them were like, this is an offensive term toward African Americans or whatever. On this word, it was, this is a highly offensive and grotesque, like this word apparently is, it is, so if you got the N word, this one is right underneath it, apparently. And so that's why this audio is not being played, folks.
Right. All right, so that brings us to our next controversy. So it's part of our grovel game here, which is Good Golf. Okay, Good Golf. This is a golf brand.
I've never heard of it.
It's a pretty popular golf brand. They got a lot
not too popular.
They got a lot of merch. I guess I've gotten sucked into that YouTube golf channel.
Okay. You don't even play golf.
Vortex. Yeah, but I love golf, right? I mean, I don't play golf. Can I play golf? Yes. Do I play well? No. My golf game goes about like this because I don't play very often.
Sure.
I play like once every year or something. My golf game goes like this. Hole number 1, I'm going to have a putt for par on the green. I will have a putt for par on the green. Most holes are par 4s, so, I'm on the green in 3. Here we go.
Boom.
It's all downhill from there.
There it is.
But for whatever reason, the first hole goes well for me. But everything else after that goes terribly. All right.
Yes.
So Good Golf is in hot water, according to John Root, after their horror movie-esque ad for Callaway Golf. So Callaway has also been groveling for repentance or groveling for acceptance, right? So Good Golf and Callaway had partnered. So Good, they've got a really successful brand. They're on YouTube. The Bryson. So the first time I guess I saw anything good was probably there's this guy
on YouTube that wears a lot. He's a not a professional golfer, but he's a YouTube golfer, and he's really good. And he's played with Bob Does Sports. Those guys are hilarious. He's played with Bryson DeChambeau, because DeChambeau has an incredible YouTube channel as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember that guy's name, but he would wear like a good stuff. You know, it's this golf brand or whatever. So let's play the ad for you first.
I've not seen this. You mentioned it in
All
our
right.
group text,
So-
but I've not seen this.
So this was this is not high production quality. This is just, we're in the world where people collaborate and YouTubers are the medium, the influencers that can sell your products. This is the world we're in. So you create ads, you create comical skits.
Okay.
And it's okay, but it's not okay because apparently some people think it's 2015. Here is the ad that they created to promote Callaway Golf. It's not the greatest ad, but this is what's brought on so much backlash. Good presents the driver.
Do not touch my new driver.
I don't get the big deal. It's just a driver.
Johnny, no. No.
Johnny, no, don't do it.
John.
No.
Don't.
No, no,
Please,
no,
John.
don't! Johnny, are you okay?
It's over. He's gone.
What is happening?
Okay, I've got a comment. I find nothing offensive in that. I just find it to be literally the stupidest ad I've seen in a long time. It is. I don't even understand what they're trying to say.
There's a horror movie right now that's kind of popular or something that it's a spoof on a current horror movie. I don't like horror movies, but from what I gathered, like that's what that's the spoof, right?
Yeah.
They've got a new driver. Callaway Golf and Good have partnered for this driver.
Yeah.
That they want to sell to people, right? So, no, it's not a great ad, but the reason why people are upset is because he pushed a girl down at the beginning of it. Now, I don't know about you guys, but in any horror movie you watch, girls get pushed down, dare I say, murdered all the time. It is literally the horror genre is, you're going to watch a horror movie, you're probably going to see some girl get killed.
Yeah, you want to see something really bad, although she's not killed. I Spit on Your Grave. There's an original one in the 70s, and then there's a remake. And that's a girl getting revenge, but she goes through it first. And I'm like, that's just a rated R horror movie. This is just stupid to me.
Yeah, but cancel culture, they're trying to bring cancel culture back. In response to this, Callaway, listen to this. To our customers, employees, stakeholders, and golfers everywhere, last week, Good Golf and Callaway posted a video to promote a co-branded driver. While the video was produced by Good, it was approved by Callaway prior to posting. That approval should never have happened. Mistakes were made, and we are taking the matter very seriously. As we deal with the consequences of our mistake and complete our investigations, I want to make it clear that we sincerely apologize for this video. The content was inappropriate and does not reflect our values. To be clear, we are unequivocally against discrimination, domestic violence, or threatening behavior of any kind. As soon as we recognized the seriousness of the issue, it was escalated appropriately, and the video was immediately removed. Preliminary statements were issued by both Good and Callaway, and now this statement has followed. We are also conducting both internal and external investigations and have already made changes to our approval process aimed at ensuring this will never happen again. We believe we have been a positive force for diversity and inclusion in the game of golf. This video was completely inconsistent with that. I assure you that we will learn from this and do better. Humbly, Chip Brewer, CEO, Callaway Golf. Congratulations, Chip. You just apologized to the woke mob and to a bunch of people that don't use your product anyway over a video that we're all adults. We know this was a horror movie spoof video, and you're saying because a girl was pushed down for touching a driver who clearly was participating in this skit as an actress, you're saying that was somehow you promoting domestic violence against women?
You're an idiot. You are a moron. And I mean, I never want to buy another Callaway product ever again because of this. I mean, because you're stupid. What are you doing? It's not 2015, okay? Like, we don't have to do this anymore. We don't have to act like this anymore. And you're doing this for virtue signaling that is fake. It's fake. You don't really believe this. There is no way that you actually believe that. You can say the ad was bad, it was poorly produced. Maybe the horror genre isn't the best way to market a new product.
Mm-hmm.
But domestic violence, abuse against women, you're a child. You are a child. No one believes you actually believe what you wrote in that apology. No one does. You don't actually believe that. You're literally doing a religious performance. You are doing a religious ritual to try to satisfy, I don't know. I mean, try to satisfy the woke mob, try to satisfy your shareholders maybe. I don't know. But if that's the case, the shareholders are idiots too.
My 15-year-old son has never done anything wrong, right? He's literally never done anything wrong in his mind. And that is something I say to him all the time. As I say, you don't even believe the words you're saying out loud. You're just saying them because you cannot admit that you were wrong. You're just saying this stuff.
Yes, I deal with the same thing.
And that's all I was thinking about, and just how stupid the video was. I mean, it's just idiotic. But the only thing they should be apologizing about was how terrible that ad was.
Yeah.
That's literally the only thing they should apologize about. And here's the thing. I wouldn't even apologize for that. If it was it was getting backlash and all that stuff, maybe you pull the ad, but don't even say a word, because the moment that you apologize to the woke mob, what have you done? You have affirmed them. You have validated their ridiculous, retarded feelings. You are affirming
Thank you. Yes.
this cancel culture BS by it. And Matt Walsh says it best: never apologize. Never apologize. Because the moment that you do, the right who was on your side in the first place before you apologized, you're going to lose them as soon as you apologize. And the left, who tried to throw you out onto this island and try to cancel you, they're not going to accept you back.
Yep.
So there's no forgiveness to be had. So if you ever do something that pisses off the left, you really need to take a bow, okay? Because if we're saying things that are cutting so closely to the core of this cancel culture leftist ideology, if we're saying those things, then we should be proud when it hits, okay? In this case, again, the only thing they should have apologized for was just how stupid that thing was.
Yeah.
Like when you're sitting there thinking, like, I don't know.
It's crazy too. It's like, hey, you realize, guys, like, this was a skit. It was an ad. You realize that the girl wasn't actually hurt, right? Like, you realize that this was acting. That this was, and you can say, well, hey, it missed the mark. Not every creative, collaborative thing within art, specifically like theatrical acting, it doesn't always work out. This is one of those examples.
I didn't even know what that ad was, and I watched it with you. Like, I was like, what are they trying to do?
Right.
And that is a terrible ad if you're having to explain it.
It is for the general public, but you know what? I don't follow the Good YouTube channel and everything else. They have a loyal following. They may. If you've been watching every video they've been posting, they might have been teasing this for a long time. Hey, we got this new driver coming out for their own audience. It actually might have been great. I don't actually know. You know what I'm saying? It's only because it got picked up. Now, even Good came out with a statement. But before we get to Good, here's the deal. According to a Reddit, they're saying that Dick's Sporting Goods is now pulling Good products off the shelves. Temple saying this is absolutely effing psychotic. What are you doing?
Well, Dick's Sporting Goods is leftist anyway.
They quit selling their guns anyway.
Yeah.
But here is Garrett Clark. This is the founder of Good. This is the guy that runs Good Golf and the brand. And listen to this grovel game. Listen to this virtue signaling. This is how you lose the right.
Wanted to come on here real quick and talk about the current situation with Callaway and Good and the ad that was just pushed out there to promote the Good driver, the Good Callaway driver. I wanted to first start by saying I personally want to apologize for playing the role in this skit, in this ad, at the magnitude that I did. And then on Good's behalf and Good marketing team's behalf, I wanted to say an apology as well, because this is not at all what we stand for. The way that this ad was received is not how good
People
is.
didn't like
and it's
it, so
not
we don't
what
stand for it.
Wait, the way the ad was received is not what you stand for. What are you talking about, man? You
were in it.
This is 2024. This is so insane. Donald Trump has been elected twice, 3 times if you really are woke about it, like our version of woke. Donald Trump was elected in 2024. We don't have to do this anymore.
Yeah, man.
What are you doing?
This was a majority of voters said, we're tired of crap like this.
Of crazy performative religious ritual, because it's a religion to these people. It was a skit where a woman got pushed down, so now good is for violence against women. It was a horror movie. It was a horror movie spoof. That's what happens in horror movies.
Well,
are we going to say that Warner Brothers and every Hollywood studio or whatever these weird, that weird studio A24 that makes some of the worst movies, satanic movies, are we going to say that, and maybe they actually are, they have a scene where some woman, gets stabbed to death as part of they're for women getting stabbed.
Oh my gosh.
They're for it. We would never say that. We would never say that, and yet the left is saying that you're for abuse against women or discrimination against women because she touches the driver. It's like the left can't handle that. That just shows you also how fragile they are.
Well,
wait a second, women are supposed to be playing golf too, and she was in a golf uniform, and she was grabbing the driver, and you prevented her from playing her sport, which is really ironic.
With violence.
Yeah, with violence. It's just
these are the same.
So done with this.
The same people that are outraged by this about him joking. I mean, like acting and saying that this. I guess that if you touch the club, that you go crazy. But you're crazy is that you start hitting the golf ball a bunch or something. I guess I don't know. Like again, I still don't even know what the hell that commercial was or
it
whatever.
Didn't put the
is.
driver in a positive light. It basically made it look like the driver was possessed.
Lord of mercy. Like, I mean, I don't know. Chat GPT will give you some good ideas on some stuff. You don't have to sit around smoking your bongs and coming up with just ridiculous stuff. But those are the same people. The same people that are offended by this are the same ones defending Lindsay Clancy for murdering her children.
You're exactly right.
And that's who you're apologizing to. You're apologizing to morally corrupt, intellectually challenged, psychotic, clinical depressed people who are spreading all of that en masse on the rest of us to try to infect us. And guess what you did? You opened up a vein and you let them just shove it in. Mm-hmm. You let them infect you. And you said the way this ad was received is not what we stand for. Okay. The only thing you should be standing for is better advertising. This right here, backlash, because this dude knocked a woman down.
In a skit. In a poor skit.
You don't want to see dudes knocking women down. Don't watch the WNBA next year.
Yeah, that's that's exactly right. That's good. I'm not going to play this whole thing, but I'm going to play a little bit more.
Okay.
This man went on a grovel tour. This is an 8-minute and 30-second video. His apology video is 8 minutes.
Someone brought up this one. Yeah, Richie R1. Betty White got tackled in a movie.
Yeah.
Or in an ad.
Yeah.
Remember that? It was a Snickers commercial.
I remember that. Yeah.
And she's like,
Betty White.
why don't you ask your girlfriend?
Right.
It was so great. It was so hilarious. And then she gets tackled and eats the Snickers and,
Nobody's
turns into a regular.
that Snickers is for abusing women or tackling women or hurting women.
The most beloved person, Betty White, was just universally beloved like Dolly Parton, and you tackled her.
And let's be real. All of this is why it's also so frustrating, because I thought we were over this. The skit was an attempt to be humorous. Okay? Like, the goal was to make people laugh. The goal, I know it didn't do that, but you don't do a skit where it's a spoof on a horror movie. The goal was to make people laugh. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's funny. Look what they did. The left hates laughter because it brings people together. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
Now they're going after this. They're going after this company. Both of these companies
really because it was just it was a failed attempt at trying to make people laugh.
They have
don't
no,
forget about that.
That's right, and they have no joy in their life.
They have no joy,
and they want to permeate that through everyone else.
Yes, and that's why C.S. Lewis said in the Screwtape Letters, he actually wrote that demons don't understand laughter. It's the one thing that's so perplexing to them. They don't understand true laughter because they really can't comprehend joy.
The demons.
Yeah. Here, just a little bit more from the CEO of Good, Garrett Clark.
Once again, I want everyone to know that I do not support DV abuse or any of that to any kind. So that's the first thing I want to say. And I also wanted to offer you guys some clarity on the situation. If you guys are willing to hear, I'll start by saying Good marketing team reached out to us and they said, we have this idea to essentially recreate or do a spinoff of the movie Obsession. And the way that it's going to work is Garrett is going to be obsessed with his driver, and anybody who touches Garrett's driver will become possessed with the obsession of the driver, if that makes sense. Looking back, super dumb ad concept, terrible ad in general, not the greatest idea.
Okay, well, at least you said that.
You just say that, but you don't have to say we're against domestic violence. I mean, is there really anybody out there who has a serious problem with that ad that was buying Callaway golf clubs? The answer is no. There's literally no one who was like, I love Callaway golf and I love golf and I'm at the links every single day. Oh my goodness, did you see Good's new ad? Therefore, domestic violence against women. In fact, opposite, you're apologizing to people who aren't even your customers.
Yeah,
you are insane.
They're throwing their Callaways in the river because of this offensive domestic violence ad. Oh my gosh, man. If that's how they view the world, that they think that these people even matter, Paul. The people, the keyboard warriors, sitting back there in their parents' basement or in their dark room, sitting there and just entering in all of the hate they have in their heart and the lack of joy that they have in their lives. They're entering it in to the computer and they want to send that out there to the world. Callaway Golf, Good Golf, they think those people matter to your business. They don't. Because those people probably aren't playing golf. The only joy I have from playing golf is when I hit a good shot. I am mad the rest of the day, and I don't know why, that I'm even playing the game. And then I'll hit another good shot. That's real life and with golf. These people that sit around miserable all the time and get offended by stuff, they don't matter.
Look at this. Good. This is their YouTube channel, okay? They've got 2.13 million subscribers. This is part of a larger movement that is good for golf, where they're getting younger people involved with golf, right? And so I just want you to take a listen. This was their 5 years ago, which is probably one of their first videos. Mm-hmm. It has over almost 6 million views. It's what's pinned to their channel. Okay, so this is the vibe. So the vibe of this of Good is this. Is fun, it's young, it's youthful, it's, hey, we're gonna...
Welcome back to another Good video.
So, this is why it's so stupid. They're also, I mean, I can't imagine their audience wanted an apology either. It's like, yeah, that ad didn't hit. I don't know what's going on. In what world do you think the woke mind virus has been eradicated? And yet this is a channel that is geared towards young white men who love golf, who are on the right, by the way, who are I promise you, overwhelmingly on the right.
They didn't vote for Kamala.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So stupid.
So I totally now that you just played that part, I've actually seen little clips of them.
So you know what I'm talking about.
Hitting like really good shots and all of that stuff. I'd never heard of Good Golf before this, before today. So I guess mission accomplished on that. There's a lot of people talking about the controversy of it, which will ultimately be good for them. But here's ultimately what the problem is, Paul, and you gave it away just as you went to their YouTube channel, and that's when you looked at the number of subscribers. they are now officially big enough to become a target of anybody sitting around waiting to be offended by the next big thing.
Yeah.
The next whatever it is. And it just happened to be Good Golf. They opened the door with a stupid ad, and it had this one little thing for them to pick on, and now there's this big hubbub. Everybody's, rah, 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 how dare you, Good Golf. I'm canceling you even though I've never bought a Callaway product in my entire life. I'm canceling you even though I don't even know what golf is, blah, 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 blah. That's what happened, and it's because they got big enough to be a target.
And they got that merch deal, too. Obviously, that's why Dick's Sporting Goods has a good section, and now they are, according to one post at least, they were removing the hats from the shelves. What? I've spent way too much. We've spent way too much time on this. I know it's like 37 minutes after. I apologize, but my goodness, what in the world? What in the world is going on?
The reason we've spent so much time on that is because it speaks overall to the mentality of these people, and it's infecting other things.
It's still here is the point. I guess that's the point. Is this crap and garbage is still here, and you just got to have people with spines. And I know there may be a lot of money on the line, but my goodness, you'd get if you take a stand and you stand with sanity, which is equated with the right on the political spectrum, you're going to end up getting more subscribers, more publicity of the people you actually want to be around. Do you really want to be around these radical leftists? I don't think so.
No way.
So anyway, the whole thing is just pathetic. All right, James O'Keefe. So what we have heard from James O'Keefe, obviously Lisa Murkowski, super upset, super mad because he exposed Lisa Murkowski's brother, exposed Alaska as having no real election security. He was able to obtain a ballot, or he didn't vote, but he was able to obtain Lisa Murkowski's brother's ballot by just going in and saying, who he was or who he claimed to be. Lisa Murkowski now wants him investigated, wants him prosecuted. Well, Lisa Murkowski's against the Save America Act, and Lisa Murkowski has a long list of reasons as to why, rural Alaska, there's too many logistics. You just can't do the reforms in the Save America Act. It just doesn't work for Alaska. So James O'Keefe decides to prove her a liar, and that's what he does in this video. Watch this.
This is James O'Keefe on a remote island off the coast of Alaska known as Unalaska. Senator Murkowski said that if the SAVE Act passes, people on this island, including fishermen, won't be able to vote. But everyone that I spoke to, posing as a poll worker, contradicted Senator Lisa Murkowski.
What we're talking about right now is just the registration to vote. So you're in Unalaska, the flight to Anchorage, because this is where you're going to have to go. You're going to have to go into Anchorage.
Let's say you were trained to process voter registrations.
We can do that here.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
You do voter registrations here?
That's so convenient. You can just do it at the library.
Yeah.
You don't have to go to Anchorage. Huh.
Everyone we spoke to here said they're able to register to vote here. They're able to prove citizenship.
Wait a second. You can just go to your public library and register to vote.
Oh, so they don't have to get on a plane and fly to Anchorage, Lisa.
What a liar. Yes. You're a United States Senator. What a liar.
Going to the library.
Because we're just interested in voting tomorrow. We don't have to go to Anchorage to get an ID.
No, you can come here.
I don't have to go to Anchorage?
No, I'm here. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
You just at the DMV. You're able to prove citizenship, right?
Yeah.
This is where citizens, Alaskans, can present their documentary proof of citizenship. I'm going all the way to Anchorage.
I wonder why those politicians tell us we got to go to Anchorage.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's strange. I thought you had to go to Anchorage to get it. Anchorage. No? I guess not. Oh.
I'm going to tell you look just like James O'Keefe.
Some people say that all the time. Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
He got recognized.
Yeah.
Anyway,
people say that all the time.
This is just so ridiculous. Like, what a basic fact. I mean, first of all, okay. Now, here's the question. Now that Lisa Murkowski has been objectively proven a liar on this point, is she misinformed and ignorant as a United States Senator, or is she intentionally lying? It's one or the other.
Well, I think that it could be an instance too of people, and you saw this in government politics for years at our state capitol. The people that live at that capitol, that live in the Little Rock area, here in Arkansas, are so out of touch with the farmers in Northeast Arkansas, and
there is a bubble that can happen. Yes,
correct. And so you don't. That's why you send representatives from your area and all of that stuff. But you have to have cohesion there within your party. And what Lisa Markowski is saying is proven wrong. I believe I watched other clips of that. I believe, doesn't he register to vote as her brother?
Yeah. That's exactly what he does in the previous video.
So he registers to vote,
or no, he doesn't register to vote. He
says that he
just says
whatever
that,
his name is.
I'm whatever, Bill Murkowski or whatever.
Yeah,
and he's going to get a ballot.
That's right.
He's going to get his ballot.
That's right. And he's not going to cast that vote because he doesn't want to commit a crime and all of that stuff. But it just goes to show you that, yes, we do need it. The Save America Act. And no, all this BS that you're spewing about the hurdles is not going to have to happen because multiple places. Go to your public library. Go to the DMV, all of these places where you can present these documents to prove who you are. Boom, here's your ballot.
Yeah.
So as Jeremy was telling us yesterday, the Save America Act is not going to, it's not going to be implemented. It probably may never get passed. I don't know, but at the very least, it's not going to be passed and implemented before the midterms. And so
your only shot is some sort of President Trump declaring national emergency, using his powers as president of the United States to secure our country.
But I was reading something just bad about that, and I won't stay on this long.
Go ahead. Talk to us.
The judge, after the Supreme Court, lifted this stay, the judge went ahead and lifted her remaining portion of it. And so I haven't read that thoroughly to determine.
You're talking about the one about the post office? Now the post office can limit, you
correct. And so
check the lists.
She lifted that. She didn't do that out of the goodness of her heart, because then she turns to those who brought the injunction request to her, whatever they're being represented by, whether it be the state or the county, I'm not really sure. But whoever brought that injunction that she granted it for, she then turns to them and says, now you have something that you can sue on. Basically, now you have a decision here that it's not still floating out there, is what she was trying to do. Because if she left it floating and the Supreme Court lifted the part that mattered there, then there would have been nothing that they could have done. Trump could implement his emergency order. Boom, there's nothing. But the thought process and the reasoning I saw was that she lifted that last part, which actually may work against that emergency order. Jeremy is much more in tune with that stuff, and I know that he'll continue to talk about that.
I would say that you're probably right. There's still a lot of judicial sleight of hand going on to try to engineer it to give the other side a softball to continue pursuing litigation some way. I would assume that a national emergency would still trump all of that.
Yeah.
And just allow. Honestly, I look at this as, if it does happen, I look at it as, the executive branch securing the homeland by securing our elections. And that's what needs to happen for sure. All right, we now go to a very tragic story, but yet we see this a lot. There are some people that believe that if you get pulled over by a female police officer who is a little nervous, that nervousness can turn into trigger happiness really quick, because of the implication, especially if you're a man. And like if you're I think I tend to agree with this, because it would take nothing for me, and I'm not some guy in great shape, but it would take nothing for me to subdue an average female police officer. Nothing, because the strength, the strength differences are just so. One comedian at one point said it's like, a man going out with a girl is like me going out with a gorilla. Like, you know what I mean? It's actually quite dangerous if you know about the strength differences, right?
Certainly not all women. I've seen some pretty bad A women.
Like I said, it's not all women, but
sure.
the point is that there is a pattern that develops where female police officers tend to escalate the situation much quicker just because they're actually afraid of the man that they're encountering because of the implication of violence that could easily go against the female officer very, very quickly.
Yeah.
And it looks like we have another instance of that here.
So I wanted to just put this out. I saw this post from Kevin Sorbo. If you don't remember, he's an actor famous for the Hercules series, all of that stuff.
Loved that show growing up.
But I wanted to put in a plug for his son, who I think is Brandon Sorbo. If you're on TikTok, he is a phenomenal follow. He is as conservative as his dad, and what he does is he finds these stories that the media is not covering because it's like, 4 Muslim men gang raped a white girl, and the media is not talking about it. And he's like, I wonder why the media is not talking about this. And then he puts the pictures of the people up there, and so he is a great follow, follows after his father. So I follow both of them on social medias, and that's where I saw this video.
So Kevin Sorbo is wanting this female cop to be fired immediately, that this is unacceptable. Viewer discretion is advised. If you got little ones in the room, probably want to turn this off. Watch.
Miss, drop the knife. Drop the knife. Stop coming towards me. Stop coming towards me. Stop where you are, miss. Stop where you are. Drop the knife. Drop the knife. Drop the knife, miss. Casey, taser. Stop it. Stop it, you're going to get shot.
Yeah. I mean, she had every... Fuck. Yeah, I don't know what her mental state was at that moment, but she's walking toward a gun with a knife. She probably wasn't in, she was in some kind of rage, or she just had a death. There's such thing as called suicide by cop, But that female police officer, did you notice? Nothing in her hands, wasn't reaching for anything until that police officer said, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, she was literally this.
Yep.
And the police officer said, Casey, taser, and she pulls out her sidearm.
And she gets the taser off, but it was the person was already running. The girl, I kind of hear the taser sound, but it was too late because that girl had already started running toward him. I don't know if you want to watch that back, but
wait, that's what happened? Because that's not at all what I thought happened. I thought the female cop, instead of getting the taser, I thought the female police officer just reached for a gun and killed.
No. So
that's not what's at issue here. Because all right.
No,
I had this story completely wrong. But when I saw it this morning, I assumed that he said taser.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of reaching for the taser, she reached for the gun and killed the person.
No.
You're saying
that guy killed her.
That it's the officer that killed her,
right.
and it's the fact that she was just doing nothing.
Yes.
Up until the point.
Until the point that he had to tell her. So there were some police officers in the comments here, and one particularly stood out and said, they train us in this scenario that one officer has less lethal methods deployed, and the other officer has lethal, and it comes in phases, right?
Right. You get one, and then you get the
because
other.
Then this officer right here should not have to be, trying to make a decision between that handgun that's in his hand, or do I put it away for less lethal if he's got a partner there
that's already got the less.
Correct. She should have already had her taser out when that person started walking. She did nothing. And forced him, because that person could be alive had she done her job.
Yep.
Because she would have tasered the person, and if you get that girl good, then she's going down, and you kick that knife away, and that girl can get some mental health.
All right, I got to watch it again now that I have the full context.
Miss, drop the knife. Drop the knife. Stop coming towards me.
Let's go.
Stop coming towards me. Stop where you are,
Still
miss.
doing nothing.
Stop where you are. Drop the knife. Drop the knife. Drop the knife, miss. Casey, taser. Stop it. Stop it, you're going to get shot.
So she started running, and the officer had no choice.
Yeah, you can hear it right before his shot. You hear the sound of that taser, but it was too late because that girl had already started running. And you want to talk about literally, I think the only thing you could give her was that she was maybe radioing part of that stuff in. But at that point, you have a a person with a knife walking towards your
partner. Yeah.
Okay. You getting on the. You have everything you need right there. You have everything you need right there. You've got 2 police officers who are armed, and you have someone who is literally taking a knife to a gunfight. Okay. And this instance shows that at the very freaking least, that girl needs to be pulled from the beat. She needs to be thoroughly retrained, and she needs to be assessed to determine whether her crisis management skills are good enough for her to be a police officer, because she forced her partner to have to kill this person. Now, let's be honest. I want to clarify. The person running at the officer with the knife forced that officer ultimately. But what I'm trying to tell you is that there was tons of opportunities there where that could have been avoided, and you could have assessed that person for mental health and all of that stuff. I don't know what they're... Dude, you gotta be something wrong with you if you're running at a police officer who has a gun pointed at you and you have a knife pulled. So something's up there. I'm not trying to say that it wasn't just suicide by cop or whatever, but damn, that police officer, the lady police officer, was literally standing there until her guy noticed she doesn't have her taser out.
She's literally
doing nothing,
giving me my backup.
He might as well have been there by himself, because she literally did nothing. Okay, and that just makes me sick to my stomach. Now, could that have also happened with 2 men, where one was being inactive and the other one was not? You know, I think maybe, I don't know, but I'll tell you this: men are a little bit more aggressive.
Unlikely.
Yeah, men are more aggressive. Like, I don't think that person would have been able to. I don't know that 2 men might have both had their guns out. You know, I don't know what that department's policy is, but regardless, you had 2 police officers there. And that happened that way because there was only one who was acting.
It is absolutely tragic. Well, now that I have the full context, I set that whole clip up. I mean, I stand by what I said setting that clip up. This is I would have set it up differently had I understood the full context. I thought I got it, but man, I totally missed it.
There's a lady that went on trial, and she was convicted. I don't know what her prison sentence was. I can't remember, but the one who was trying to tase a guy in a car, and she reached for a gun and shot and killed him.
Yeah. Eric Haynes says, fantastic analysis by Rob on the female cop and the taser. Well done. Eric should be back with us tomorrow, and he has a very interesting story that everybody's going to want to hear about robots in Tulsa. We're going to get to probably our last segment of the day, kind of related to the shooting that you just saw, but it's a different take. It's now time for From My Cold, Dead Hands. This edition of From My Cold, Dead Hands, as I said, is a little different, a little unique from what we would normally do. Mike Cernovich writing, videos like these, which are common, give up the game on gun control. Democrats never post them to make the case for stricter gun laws. They don't call for arrests. Gun control is about disarming you. This is from a video from Matt Robinson highlighting Chicago teenage gang members just showing their firearms out in the open, and nobody's doing anything about it.
Michi didn't even introduce himself in we're not even in tour with no 9 Block Crew, because I don't know what that is. He wants to be that 9B whole time. They hood extinction. My number act crazy. All handlers outside. I slide and get the biggest high speeds and get away. I go to the locker films, police ass studio, and go to jail. I wish they would have tried Buddy Gray, but instead his ass got snitched. No, he wants you claiming me that it's not my.
That's quite the arsenal.
Out here with the 128, man. Y'all know what the f going on.
Oh, look at that one. Look at that drum.
Shout out to A, man. Free Lil Trey, man. Free Mud. Free Christos, free T-Man. Catch a play for the right amount and go right down like we with the jackpot.
So the idea being that all of those weapons in Chicago are illegal.
Judged by the content of their character. How about that? Dr. Martin Luther King would be rolling over in his grave if if he knew that this was become, part of their culture. It's not. There are plenty of black people that do not subscribe to this culture. But you want to talk about how dangerous Chicago is. It's because these are kids, man. These are kids just running around
just like
here.
we talked about kids not having the mental capacity to sign up for $100,000, $200,000 in student loans at the age of 17. Look at this. I mean, but it is incredible. The point being that gun control never works.
Yeah. Look what I got.
Law-abiding citizens, you're going to strip them of their right to their Second Amendment
because of this.
The criminals are going to.
Dude, look at these guns. These
I
are
know. Where are they getting these
crap
weapons?
Is straight out of Call of Duty.
And you wonder why. This is the reason why. You want to know why every weekend? Matter of fact, we could literally do some sort of raffle or some sort of pool of like how many people are going to get shot this weekend in Chicago.
Yeah. Well,
and you could this is why, because look at how well armed they are.
Yeah, and how many people have these kids shot at or shot? I mean, these kids look at this. They're pointing the gun at the camera guy.
Dude, it's crazy.
Like, imagine if you're the camera guy being like, I wish y'all quit pointing those things at me.
I told you it was a unique from my Cold Dead Hand segment, didn't I? We've never had one quite like this.
Dude. And then what is up with the black culture of flashing of the money? Like, why? What is that? I mean, is it just show how much money I got? Look, I got all this money. I got all this money. Like, okay.
It's as Dave Ramsey says, it's the status symbol of choice.
Interesting.
Not the paid-off mortgage, but the wad of cash in the 9mm.
Well, I mean, I guess the uber wealthy people buy these Bentleys and all of that stuff as a like the Bentley is that much better of a car. I don't really know anything about Bentleys. Don't get on me, but regardless, I just think this is a sad state, and it's indicative of a culture that is declining by the day.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, what kind of future are these little kids going to have? And I say little kids. There may be somebody that's there may be 18, 20-year-olds in there, but look at this kid right here. He looks like he's 14 years old, man. I don't know. And what kind of future are these kids going to have unless they have some sort of wake-up moment? I don't know. How many people are they going to kill before they wake up?
Yeah. In other news, before we go, Dolly Parton have obviously passed away, as well as Tim Curry passing away. The Dr. Clown PhD says that Netflix is already planning for an original biographic film where, they're going to do a Dolly Parton. That's going to be the... So the idea is that they would they're gonna race swap Dolly Parton when they eventually get to her biopic, which you never know that.
Oh gosh,
you never know that.
Are we in woke 3.0 by then? Who knows?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Also, Tim Curry has passed away. The actor, famous for Rocky Horror Picture Show. Sticks Downey Jr. says Tim Curry survived by Snuffy, Al, Leo, Little Mole with a gimpy leg, Cheeks, Boney Bob, and Cliff.
It's not true. Home Alone 2, if you know what he's talking about.
Oh, man.
You've been smooching with everybody.
You've been smooching with everybody. All right, so we'll have fun with that one tomorrow when Eric is back with us, because there's a scene going around of Home Alone 2, and everybody in that scene has actually passed away at this point. So
man.
It makes you feel really old. Rob, I appreciate you being with us, sir.
Great to be with you as always.
Folks, we're going to go. We'll be wishing you happy Friday. And by the way, happy Friday Eve today. God bless. We're going to hand it over to Jeremy Harrell and live from America for the next 3 hours. God bless. We'll see you guys tomorrow.